So we still have some winter ahead of us. Rainy days, cold nights still coming. Let's see what the winter's done to the garden here. These things I kept on the porch were okay. They usually grow back. I've gotten to the point where I really can't babysit these plants. If they're going to live, they're going to live. What do you say about that? I was wondering what sort of cactus this was, and I guess it's an Easter cactus. The geranium has survived, kind of. I have to do some cutting back. Always a struggle with this, it's called a lemonade honeysuckle. Bought it a couple years ago. It was a gift, and it just powers through winter. Cactuses need weeding, but they powered through also. Again, you gotta make it here. I can't baby them. They just have to do the best they can, and they seem to be hardening up and doing just fine, even with these really cold, wet winters. These cactuses live in their best life also. They're right by the front door. I'd like to plant them in the ground, but I don't know, I haven't found the right place for them. Not sure what to do about these, but they seem to like being scrunched into these little tiny pots because they just grow and grow and grow. Well, look at those little ornamental berries. I haven't seen this tree do this ever. And here it is. Must have been the perfect winter for it. Well, everything out here is pretty much the way I left it in the fall. I don't bother doing too much here. We get so much awful weather, and it's cold and it's wet. I'm going to do probably a big cleanup end of March, early April. We have some more bad weather coming in. I have two of these refrigerators on their back, and I filled them with dirt that we got at the dump. I went with two friends who have a truck, and we got a couple of, well, we got a huge trailer load, and I took half and they took half. And I was able to fill up these two refrigerators. I'm probably going to bring in a third and fourth refrigerator and get some PVC pipe and sunscreen and really go for it this year in the garden. Last year was so awful. I mean, the heat, we had over 110 degrees for about 6 weeks and 120 degree days, and unbelievable. Rosemary did well. There's some Spanish lavender in there under the weeds. I purchased 4 of these for 75 cents each a few years ago at Walmart. They're Spanish lavender. They don't have much of a smell, but they're pretty. I am now looking for lavender that does have a nice scent. I think it's English or French. I have to be real sure because I'd like to grow some for the scent properties. These are nice ornamentals though, and they're obviously quite hardy. One of my compost piles going here. Here's another one that I finished up and has just been marinating all winter. I'm going to be using that compost to top off some of these grow bags. I'm not quite sure what to do with these grow bags. Last year something got into this one and that one and took out all my zucchini plants, so I'm just not sure what I'm going to do here to think this one through. Out here things are actually not bad, all things considered. Whatever is supposed to die, died. And whatever was supposed to live, lived. You'll see I have these eggshells in my compost, but I watched Martin Midlife Misadventures and what they do with eggshells to, I guess, kind of cook them down and dry them and powder them for plant food. So I'm going to go to the compost piles and pull out all the eggshells and do that. Otherwise they take a long time to break down, and this way I can have them for all the plants. Strawberries are coming back. I have 2 containers, this container and this smaller container. Weeds everywhere. Do you think I care? No, I do not. Sage is hanging in there. Thyme is doing really well. Lemon balm is coming back. I do fertilize this over the winter, all of it. And just leave it up to Mother Nature what's going to make it or not. There is actually a lot of chamomile in here. It's covering almost the entire bottom of this tote. I have to pull out some of these weeds. But I think I'm going to get a good chamomile crop here. Marjoram doing real well. I put chamomile in here as well at the far end, and it's hanging in there. I'm going to fertilize and add some soil to this, I think, in the next few weeks. I came out here about 2 weeks ago and this container was completely just soil, and I thought, well, I have lost my rhubarb. We've been struggling for years. Then I was on the deck and I looked down and I saw something green coming up. So I ran down and look, it came back. Not sure what is going to happen with the asparagus. I have 2 containers and it's just going to be wait and see. More Spanish lavender. And right next to it I have this grow bag, which nothing has ever been able to grow here because the cats sit on it. So I think I'm just going to take a shovel and dump the soil into the other containers and call it a day with this. It's just too low. Other things are looking decrepit. This is chrysanthemums I cut down. They'll come back up. I've got seedless blackberries here. I do have wild blackberries, but they are really tiny and they're hard to get to. This will flower out soon. There's some more of that Spanish lavender. One is doing better than the other. I did cut a lot of the dead off of this one. And I have the 2 lantanas. Last year I just sort of let them go and they came back. I like to have some flowers here for pollinators. I set down this little makeshift path here. Tiny little steps that have been kicked into the soil. I'll go check out the creek. Well, it's my favorite little space. It's okay. I do get my water from a spring up at the top of the hill, but there's also a well house here. I've never used the well, but it's all hooked up, and at some point I'm going to get it checked out and have it as a backup. The creek here is doing great. We have a lot of runoff from the mountain, and this goes down the side of the property, back of the property, then meets up with a larger creek at the bottom. Makes such a beautiful sound. I enjoy having it. You see the little mushroom house there? I like to put these Dollar Tree houses in the trees, and when my grandchildren come, they love to look for them. However, every year 1 or 2 disappear. Not sure if animals take them or weather or what. So I got some replacements at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to have to stick them in there into some of the crevices. There is kind of the no man's land. Right now it looks easy to maintain, just a bunch of sticks, but a lot of greenery grows here, and I have it chopped down every year because it becomes a hiding place for things I don't want to hide there. I saw a pig here last year, a year and a half ago. I have not forgotten it. I saw the pig down the road, and I've heard suspicious sounds in here when it's been fully leafed out. So I just don't need the wild boar, wild pig situation here. They've got tens of thousands of acres around me to do that, so I don't feel so bad about this little patch. But when they come to clean up the property in another couple months, I'm going to have them totally bring this to the ground. Do you see that tree there kind of being propped up? We had a heavy snow here a few years ago. It completely fell over. It just could not stand it, could not take it. We had a lot of storms, we had a lot of wind. The tree just fell over. So I thought, well, I'll have them clear it up in the spring. But when the spring came, it was still alive, even laying flat. So I just had them prop it up, and every year I have them prop it up again. If it wants to live, I'm going to let it live. These are the prettiest pink roses. They have a very short season, but they're one of the first things to bloom here. And they're starting to leaf out. The plum tree is starting to show some action. I have an almond tree here too, and it's starting to show some action. Here's the view behind the little cabin. Not my house, but the extra cabin. So beautiful here. It's just gorgeous. This is flowering quince, I believe, and it is always the first thing to bloom here. Always. Beautiful, beautiful coral color. I have one here by my house and one right across the little access road. And check this out. I don't know how many generations these daffodils have been here, but they always come back and never disappoint. Also, some of these little baby bell things, so pretty. This little bed always has something blooming in it. It's surrounded by rock, and it was set up, I believe, so that when you looked out at this bedroom window, the little bedroom window, you could see it. So that's where I'm at. Some cleanup to be done. I'm going to be starting seeds pretty soon and looking forward to another season. Thank you so much for watching.